Hello, and glad you can join us for another edition of Kogi in Focus, the program that puts the spotlight on happenings in and around Kogi, Nigeria's confluent state, in the last 1 week. I'm your guide, Oluwatosin Osuji. Welcome. The program made its debut last week, and for those who were part of it, we're sure it was worth your while. On the program today, we will be telling you how a collaboration between the Kogi State government, the office of the First Lady, and the private hospital in the state is about to change the lives of scores of Kogi State's residents. The ruling All Progressives Congress held its National Executive Council meeting in Abuja during the week, and Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello had a major role to play as the party moved several steps closer to reconciling its aggrieved members. And our views from the street segment this week focuses on Nigeria's epileptic power supply and what the authorities should be doing about it. All these and more when we return. Don't go away. If you're just joining us, the program's Kogi in Focus, a weekly flashback of major developments in and around Kogi State in north-central Nigeria. Signs of better days ahead for the state came to light during the week as Governor Yahya Bello signed a memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation for the setting up of a biofuel production plant and refinery in the state. Both parties agree the sugarcane-based plant and refinery has huge positive economic implications for the state and the nation as a whole.
A lot of job creation in the state. Over 2 million citizens and residents of Kogi State will have job, in Kogi State as a result of this cassava and sugarcane development project that will be feeding the biofuel refinery plant that is coming up in Kogi State.
We can put in up to 10% of biofuels into our normal PMS supply so that normal vehicles could use them. But the focus we have with the level of biofuels that are being generated all over is to be able to have biofuel filling stations so that those vehicles that are designed to run on biofuels could take 100% biofuels that they need.
We are producing in excess now that we can't even consume as a state.
As part of the program, we have the Outgrowers program, whereby beyond the plantations that are meant for the plants, the farmers in the immediate environment will be given these advanced seeds.
The Nigeria Labour Congress last week celebrated its 40th anniversary as the main voice of workers in the country. Workers in Kogi State were not left out of the celebration as they converged in their thousands on Lokoja to mark the day. The chairman of the Kogi State chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress acknowledged the efforts of the Kogi State government as regards workers' welfare, but said a lot needs to be done, especially for the state's teachers.
To see how they can put security in place in Kogi State. And for this end, we'll continue to praise them for the security effort in Kogi State. The government has equally done well by ensuring that our revenue house be put in place so as to generate more revenue for Kogi State. We are indeed very grateful for that struggle they have done. In the same way, sir, His Excellency is doing his best to see that civil service is reformed to a more positive position in Kogi State. We are indeed grateful. His Excellency, under this watch of the good works his government has done, what has continued to question and agitate our mind continue to remain the endless screening exercise that many of the people has lost their job. Equally, the continuation of payment of percentage salaries and local governments and teachers is a complete inheritance for which we will advocate that it should stop, that of the states and pensioners, so that another government will not come and inherit it tomorrow.
He also called on the government to do something about the strike conductors in the state. Deputy Governor Simon Achuba, who was part of the celebration, said the state government is aware of its workers' demands and will do something about them in the not-so-distant future.
I have the confidence, and I continue to say it in various forums, that in no time, salaries will be paid as at wedding. I listened to the speech of the NLC chairman in respect of juniors heading seniors. And I will want the NLC body to write to government and cite instances where that is in place for possible address. The medical doctors that are on strike, we are talking with them and we are resolving the issues very soon.
Smiles are certain to return to the faces of persons affected by the recent flooding incidents in parts of Kogi State, as the state government during the week took delivery of a range of relief items donated by the National Emergency Management Agency for onward distribution to the flood victims. While handing over the items to the state deputy governor, the head of the visiting NEMA delegation, Kayode Fagbemi, had words of advice on how to minimize the adverse effects of flooding.
The National Emergency Management Agency is willing to collaborate and support the State Emergency Management Agency in mitigating the impact of the disasters in our community. We may not be able to determine the amount of rain that will fall, but we can determine that it will have less impact on our people.
The deputy governor described the donation of the items as welcome and timely.
In the 2012 flood, we learned our lessons and we are proactive to ensure that these things do not occur again. But in every way, you are being set up to mitigate in this matter, and you have done so. On behalf of Kogi State, the governor of Kogi State, and the good people of Kogi State, once again, I want to say thank you very much.
Igalamela, Odolu, Ajaokuta, Kogi, Basa, Ibaji local government areas, and parts of the state capital, Lokoja, were among the hardest hit by the flooding. On the heels of the court granting the federal government's prayer to continue work at the Ajaokuta Steel Complex, a team of the Kogi State House of Assembly, led by the Speaker, Matthew Kolawole, paid an on-the-spot assessment visit to the steel company. The Speaker called on the federal government to accord top priority to the resuscitation of the steel company in view of its huge economic importance.
The developmental nature of this company, the humanitarian development and things they have done in the area of humanitarian purposes, I think we are very, very encouraged. And I'm here with some of my members, my colleagues. Everybody is happy to be here, and we just believe they will do more. Like we just did our Kogi State Investment and Economic Summit, and we are still expecting Dangote to invest more in Kogi State to contribute his own quota, particularly in the area of IGR and youth employment. Sincerely speaking, we are happy. What really interests me most is the school they have here, which I believe with the opportunity we have as representatives of the people, we are going to let people know that they need to study here in the engineering department, and I think it will help them in future. What we saw, I think the House of Reps Speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was very happy, and he feels so bad that that place has been left abandoned. And so from what he says, we are hopeful that the company will come alive once again. You see, if we have places like Dangote Cement Factory and Ajaokuta is running concurrently, it's going to reduce a lot of youthful devices. It's going to reduce unemployment in our society. From what we're saying is, if Ajaokuta plant is running, the factory is running today, it's to employ nothing less than 10,000 youths, so which will help this country greatly. At this juncture, I think the House of Assembly, we on our own part, Before now, we have moved a motion which was transmitted to the National Assembly, which we equally copied the presidency, urging them and appealing to them to please come and complete the Ajakuta Steel Company. And so I think we will still continue to pressurize and appeal, because all we can do is just to appeal as a legislator, and we believe by the grace of God, as things are going right now, I believe Ajakuta will be revived. When it's revived, Kogi is revived.
The moribund steel company was a major topic for discussions at the recent Kogi Economic Summit, which prompted a visit by a visiting team of the House of Representatives, led by the Speaker, Yakubu Dogara. Good news came out during the week for eye cataracts patients as the state government, the office of the First Lady Rashidat Bello, and the private hospital in the state, Nizamiye, formally kicked off a collaboration to operate on and treat 53 patients across the 23 local government areas of the state. The official takeoff was witnessed by top government officials, the management of Nizamiye Hospital, and different community representatives. The secretary to the state government, Ayuade Folashade, described the initiative as a welcome development.
We believe this is one of many other joint heads initiatives that will be coming up between the Nizamiye Hospital and Kogi State Government in collaboration with Kogi Women and Youth Advancement Foundation. We do sincerely, as a government, appreciate the management and staff of Nizamiye Hospital, Abuja, for this great offer. And of course, we look forward to a successful completion of this program and other benefits.
The State Health Commissioner, Saka Haruna, said the collaboration is a demonstration of the Yaya Bello administration's commitment to the well-being of all residents. The representative of Nizamiye Hospital said it is a privilege to be part of the collaboration and promised to discharge all its responsibilities as agreed.
I thank the government of Kogi State, and we look forward to greater partnership with this state in terms of bringing succor to, I don't like to say indigent people, I like to say not too privileged people.
Surgeries and treatments are expected to start this week. And we round off our review on a political note, as last week was a busy one for Governor Yaya Bello and his ruling All Progressives Congress, as it held its National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja last week. The meeting succeeded in dousing the brewing leadership tension by extending the tenure of the present National Working Committee and other leadership organs for another 1 year.
Relying on Article 13 of our Constitution, which empowers the NEC to carry out the functions of the convention, the NEC has decided to extend the tenure of the current NWC and other executive committees at various levels till for another 12 months, starting from June 30th. Mr. President has not indicated that he's running, not to talk of endorsement.
Nigeria's confluent state, the country's melting pot, where almost anything and everything can happen. From the governor to the farmer, from politics to entertainment, from the economy to sports and tourism. We've got you covered on these and a whole lot more on Kogi in Focus. Kogi in Focus, a weekly review of development in and around Kogi State. Stay abreast with what you need to know on Kogi in Focus on your channel of choice, Africa Independent Television. Kogi in Focus, reaching everywhere, informing everybody.
Nigeria's public power supply challenges need no introduction, as no part of the country cannot say it has not had its fair share of electricity blackouts. We took the issue to the street to get a feel of how big the problem is and what the authorities must do to solve it.
To me, there's no improvement because they always force us to sleep very late in the night, to the fact that they used to bring it by 10 p.m. and as early as 4 a.m. they will take it off. As for the afternoon time, I think it's only viable for those that are doing business around. For those of us that are not using the electricity supply for any business, by 4 p.m. that will be at home, it's a blackout. The heat and all that will be forced to be on a quiet heat condition between 4 and 10 p.m. in the night. It's not a reason at all. Since there's no regulation in the bill, they still bring the bill as if we are enjoying the 24-hour light. To me, the best thing is for us to be using this prepaid meter so that it will be pay as you go.
It's almost 4 days that I'm in town now, no improvement at all. At times, if they bring lights around that kind of 4 o'clock, and they took it around 9 till 4 again, it's not fair. We have to, as in the LMC, federal government have to look about that.
There is improvement in power sector seriously, but we are getting electricity, of which is of a great benefit to the community and the people, in the sense that the power itself will bring or create more jobs and create a forum for foreigners and other investors to come and stay and invest in the community, which is going to create a total rapid development.
We thank God that it has improved now compared to the previous time. Because sometimes ago we don't have lights as expected. I think it takes about a week, we may not even see light. But now we sleep with light, and at times throughout the afternoon we still enjoy light.
The importance of light can never be overemphasized if only it's regular, you understand. And we, like me per se, I am a businessman. I do make use of light very well. I have a barbering salon and so many other business that require electricity. It helps a lot, you understand, because when there is light, we do find work very easy. We do work with ease. But when there's no light, we have to run gen. And in running gen, you know what it takes. And you must buy fuel. And if the gen is not too good, you find it very difficult to run your business properly.
A year, 2 years plus now, the way of light, we don't even enjoy it anymore. We don't have light. Like if they give us like 10, by 5, at times you don't reach 4, at times like 3, 30, so we don't enjoy light. And in this our state, our business concerning light, the success we have is light in Kogi, mostly in Kogi. And like this now, everything just turned upside down.
Power generation has been very, very stable for some time, but over the last getting to almost 6 months now, to 7 months, it has been seriously epileptic. And I don't know, it has seriously affected business. Like in my business now, I can't even do anything much. I have to depend on petrol to run my business. So I don't know what has actually brought it. The issue of electricity has not been very constant. So like in Okene here, in some places you have steady electricity 24 hours. But there are some areas that you don't even have electricity at all, and the hours of service is relative. In the area where I stay, they give light for 4 hours, at times 5 hours, and that's the end of the day. So, and I don't know why there's that segregation of power supply.
My advice to the government is that they should improve more so that people can invest. That's number 1. Then 2, if there is steady power supply, people will be able to do one or two things in order to improve their standard of living.
Here's where we draw the curtain on this week's edition of Kogi in Focus. We hope it's been worth your while, and we trust that you'll make it a date with us next week, same time, same station. Have a wonderful week, and as I often say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I am Oluwatosin Osuji. Bye for now.